Hi, hello, and welcome to a new episode of Release. I'm your host, Adriana, and I'm so honored and grateful that you've taken the time to listen to what I have to say. Today, I wanted to start by saying Happy New Year, guys! I hope your new year is full of new opportunities, hope, peace, newfound freedom, and the ability to allow the universe to work through you. I wish you guys an amazing and prosperous new year. I know I'm a little bit late, but better late than never. But in this episode, I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions. Of course, when a new year comes around, everybody's asking, oh, do you have any resolutions? What are your resolutions? Et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And I find resolutions kind of hokey, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of people create them and they kind of expect them to fail within like a month, 2 months. They make them to make them, and then when one obstacle comes their way, they sort of just give up. So in this episode, I want to talk about how we can formulate successful New Year's resolutions, but also, those are my bracelets, but also to give ourselves grace and to understand that one little fall does not mean that we are failing, that the journey is not always straight. And the first thing is just that. The journey is not straight. Change does not happen just because you put your mind to it one day and you're like, I'm going to change. You are trying to rewire your brain. You're trying to change habits that probably have taken years, decades to be cemented into your brain and into your being. And some of these things are things that we do without even giving it any conscious thought. And the first thing, I guess the second thing that is important about making resolutions and about creating goals for ourselves is that you do not need the first day of a calendar year to change. You can get up today, you can get up 5 weeks from now, you can get up 3 months from now and say, okay, I am making this conscious decision to do this thing. And when you are creating these goals and these ideas of change and these resolutions, we'll just refer to them as resolutions in general. You need to know why and who you're doing it for. If you feel as though you have to do something, then that resolution is going to be the one that's going to fall on its face. People say, I have to go to the gym this year. I have to start eating healthy, blah, blah, blah. That is setting them up to fail. Because when you say you have to do something, it's like you are being forced. There is no internal driving force that is pushing you towards it. So once that little slip, once you say, okay, I said I was going to eat healthy, but like I've had a good week and this burger is calling my name. You want to eat that burger. So then your actual desires are going to take over your have to goals, right? And have to is in quotes. You need to be doing things for yourself. And I know that not all of our goals can always be, oh, I don't want to do this thing, so I'm just not going to do it. Like, let's say you're in school and you kind of have to do an assignment in order to pass the class and you want to pass the class. So you might have to go through that uncomfortable feeling of having to do something. in order to get to your goal that satisfies the desire within you. So, speaking of school, we're going to talk about a framework called the SMART framework, SMART goals. It is normally just spelled like SMART, S-M-A-R-T, but I had a prof that spells it S-M-A-A-R-T. And we'll go through it, and this is just a way that you can use a toolbox that you can have when you're creating these resolutions, New Year's or throughout the year, whenever you want to. Resolutions that, or goals that have some sort of guideline, and they're not just vague. And that's exactly what the first letter stands for. The S stands for specific. So we want our goals to be specific or concrete versus general or abstract. This helps with upping commitment and focusing on exactly what you want to achieve. So let's say that your goal is, I want to save money. That is very broad versus having a more specific goal that may be, I want to put aside money into my savings account every week, every 2 weeks, whatever you decide. But you make the goal. You know your schedule. You know yourself. Be honest with yourself when making these goals and when creating these resolutions for yourself. The M stands for measurable. So if it was your saving money resolution, you would say, I'm going to put $20 aside into a savings account every week. Again, you know how much you can put aside. You know what your own schedule looks like. So you make an amount, or you set a goal. If it's to go to the gym and you've never gone to the gym before, you're not going to set, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week for 2 hours every day. That won't be attainable, especially if it is a goal that you want to keep long term. I have to say, I am working my way towards this. Maybe it's 2 days a week for 30 minutes every time you go. And then after you've done this for a month, you say, now I feel ready to go 4 days a week for 45 minutes. And you adjust your goal as you see fit. But again, you have to be honest with yourself. There has to be feedback with your goal. That is the only way you can know if your goal is being, if you're making progress, or if there is room for improvement or need for improvement, or if your goal is being accomplished. Here, feedback can be from another person. It is important that not important for all goals, but for some goals, you may need to have another person to hold you accountable. If not, you have to be able to hold yourself accountable, maybe having some sort of journal, maybe whatever you need to do. But there needs to be some way of tracking and some way of being able to look at or be able to know what your progress is and how far along on your goal and how much you are succeeding in said goal, right? And the first A, attainable, goes back to what I was just saying. You want to make something, or you want to create a goal that is not just easy. It needs to be not impossible, but it has to be something difficult, something that you have to work towards. When you want an outcome and you want to do this thing, you feel self-affirmed. When you're going to the gym and you have to wake up, let's say you have to wake up at 6 a.m. I have to be I have to be fit is not going to get you out of bed. It is not going to get you to that gym. You're going to pull yourself out of bed when you want to. You're going to say, this is for me. This is what I want to do. This is something that I'm doing for myself. So you're going to pull yourself out of that bed and you're going to get yourself to the gym. And self-efficacy is something that is very, very important, right? Feeling like you are able to achieve your goals. And this is something that is very, very, very key. We have to have a lot of faith in ourselves, not delusional faith to say, oh yeah, I've never gone to the gym in my life, but I'm going to start today and I'm going to do that 6 days a week for 2 hours every day. And I'm just going to keep going and going and going. That is not attainable. That is something that when we feel as though we are incapable of achieving our goals and we feel like our self-efficacy is low, we will start to, the first time we kind of fall, we begin to form this sort of like this self-doubt around ourselves. Like in the back of our heads, it's like, oh, well, I already know that I wouldn't have been able to do it. Or, whoa, I'm so XYZ, insert judgment here. But when we create goals that are attainable, that already fit into the schedule that we have, that works into the change that we are trying to create for ourselves, they work better. And you need to give yourself grace for goals like going to the gym, especially if you're just starting. Not that I'm a gym expert. It's just one of those things that people tend to put in the resolutions, or things that are just people's just one resolution is going to the gym. You may need to give yourself a little bit of break. And when I say a little bit of a break, I mean like being honest with yourself and being gentle with yourself, having self-compassion and saying, I've never done this before and I'm only going to go 3 days a week. And for the rest of the week, that is going to be recovery. On this day, I'm just going to do a little 5-minute stretch. Maybe I'll do 1 recovery day, 2 recovery days, whatever the case may be. But incorporating your own already understood needs into that goal to make it more attainable. And the second A stands for approach. So you want your goals to be approach goals. I want to do this versus, let me give a more specific example. So an avoidance goal would be, oh, I don't want to be unhealthy, versus an approach goal would be, I want to take better care of my body and my well-being. That way we are even framing the way that we think about the goal and ourselves in a more positive way. And that not only narrows the way that we are going towards the goal, but also changes our mindset to help us to be more positive in general towards the goal. And the R stands for relevant or realistic, and I've kind of been touching on that throughout. I want to make sure that the goals are of personal importance, but they also fit in with other goals, fit in with our schedule, fit in with the way that we already know that we are. So if you know that it's really hard for you to get up early and you want to get up at 5 a.m. and go for an hour walk every day, that may not be realistic. That really may not be something that you may be able to work towards it. Maybe you can say, okay, I'm going to wake up at 9 a.m., do a 30-minute walk 4 days a week. I'm not saying that you shouldn't aim for the skies and have the biggest, most beautiful, amazing goals. Of course, you deserve it, definitely. But sometimes we have to work towards those things. We have that in mind and we're working towards it. But again, like I said, the journey is not straight. It doesn't mean that you will never be able to get up at 5 a.m. and walk for an hour. It just means that you are taking your current state in mind and you are remembering that you are only human and you are, again, rewiring your brain. And the T stands for time bound. So specify, give yourself a time frame, right? So let's say that you say you want to lose 2 pounds. Lose 2 pounds in how much time? Are you going to use the whole year to lose those 2 pounds? What is your time frame? And when you say, okay, I want to lose 2 pounds in the next 2 months, that gives you 2 months to say, okay, when the end of that 2 month period comes, you can sit down and say, okay, I've been doing the work. You weigh yourself. Okay, you've lost your 2 pounds. Congratulations. You have succeeded on your goal. You've succeeded with your goal. If you get on the scale and you haven't reached your goal, okay, cool. We can rework it. We can change the time frame. We can change something else with the goal and we go back at it. Because if that losing that 2 pounds or gaining that 2 pounds or going to the gym or whatever your goal is, whatever it may be, you not achieving it does not make you a failure. It just means that you're on the journey. You're doing the thing. It's just that we maybe need to tweak it a little bit and come back to it and figure out how we're going to reshape this goal to do it, to succeed in our goals. And when you do things like this and you shape your goals like this, you are less likely to procrastinate because you have a set goal and time does not wait for any of us. So you have this in mind and you're working towards it. And 2 months is going to come whether or not you sit on the couch and eat junk food every day. The 2 months is still going to come. And the goal is still going to be a goal that you have created. So I think with this framework, or I'm hoping that if you utilize this framework, it reshapes the way that you think about your goals. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be just New Year's resolutions. It can be anything, really, at any time that you want to change with yourself. And please, when you're making the resolutions, like I said with S, try to make them specific. Do not create a resolution like, I want to be a better person. Okay, that is a great thing, but you have to break it down. Say, okay, I want to try to, whatever you quantify as being a good person, you pick one thing and you go through those steps and you figure out how you can shape it into a goal that is attainable. So we want to make them SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, with an approach versus an avoidance sort of approach, relevant and time bound. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about for this episode, because I know that now is the resolution time, and I wanted to kind of provide a sort of kicking off point for people that really and truly want to be successful in their resolutions, because you deserve to be successful. You do not deserve, stopping your goal 2 weeks into the year and then being like, oh, I'll do it next year, when you have so much time. You can do it at any time. You can create your new beginning at any time. You got this. I love you guys. I am so ready for 2023. And, well, not ready. We'll put a little asterisk beside it. I know that this year is going to bring a lot of newness for us. I know that it is going to bring things that probably are completely not even on our brains yet. Things that we didn't even know would happen. But I'm ready with the help of the divine. I am ready for the year to shake me, because I know that the universe got me, God got me, I got y'all, I got myself. Like, we can do this. We can do this. I love you guys so much. I know this is a short episode, but I just wanted to make it a short and sweet one to start the year. And then for our next episode, we'll have more of a similar kind, like what we've done last year. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I love you. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye.